Hey there guys, how's it going? Thanks for checking out this video, and today we're going to be looking at all of the perks and exo abilities and the exo launchers in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare multiplayer. Now this was showcased recently at Gamescom in Germany, however I've painstakingly gone over every single last bit of information I can to bring you every last detail about every perk and ability that is going to be in multiplayer. So if you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind taking a second to just smash that like button, I'd really appreciate that, and leave your comments down below with any perks that you think might be a little bit overpowered, perks that you think are really good innovations. I'll be really interested to know. So without further ado, let's get down to it. So in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, they're going to have a pick 13 system similar to Black Ops 2 where it was pick 10, but they've got 3 extra things you can pick because you can actually take out your score streaks this time to add other things that you might want. So let's get down to perk tier 1. There are 3 perk tiers as per usual, similar to the other Call of Duties that you're used to. So perk tier 1, we have lightweight, one that's been in a lot of the modern Call of Duties. Just increased movement speed, could be quite popular especially with the exo abilities. If people really get addicted to that fast paced gameplay, I can imagine a lot of people are going to want to go even faster. Next up, we have Danger Close for increased explosive and score streak damage. Now, of course, Danger Close normally does increased explosive damage, but not always score streak damage. It was like that in Modern Warfare 2. They're bringing this back here. I don't know if maybe they want to make some of the score streaks a bit more powerful. I can see this being very popular with people. People love explosives, and people love doing more damage with explosives. I'm not too happy about this one, personally, but we'll have to see how it balances out, because as you can see, we've got Flak Jacket there that we'll get onto in a second. Next up, you've got Low Profile, invisible to UAVs and tracking rounds. Obviously this is similar to Ghost or any perk before that used to hide you off the radar. This is the one in this game if you want to stay hidden off of that UAV sweep. Moving on, we have Overcharge. This extends your exo ability battery life and shocks enemies on impact of the boost slam. Now I think at first when this game comes out, people aren't going to be too used to using those exo abilities, the double jump and the strafing, so I don't think many people will go towards this perk. However, I think once people master all of that movement, they're going to start to want a little bit more from it. So the idea of a little bit more battery life with your exo ability is going to be a bit more appealing once you're used to actually using those exo abilities. So I think at first people will go for the other perks, but maybe over time this will end up being a popular one. Finally, in this perk tier, we've got Flak Jacket, reduced damage taken from explosives, no slowdown from explosive damage, and reset grenade times on throwback. Obviously, Flak Jacket, we always expect you're going to have reduced damage taken from explosives, but it's interesting, no slowdown from explosive damage, so I'm guessing if you get hit by like a grenade or something in game, it will slow down your movement a bit. Not with Flak Jacket on, you can be a bit more of a super soldier. And finally, a grenade reset, not always something that's put in Flak Jacket, sometimes it's put in Fast Hands or other kind of speed perks, but this time it's in Flak Jacket, and I think it's actually a really good ability. Sometimes you underestimate how powerful that is, and with Danger Close I can see this being very popular with a lot of players. I think Flak Jacket is something that a lot of players are going to need if they want to go on high streaks and end up getting some kind of crazy, I don't know, maybe there is a Moab or nuke in this game, and if they want to go for those high streaks to get that, I think Flak Jacket is going to be a necessity. Now for perk tier 2, you can see here we've got Cold-Blooded, immune to thermal, target enhancer and threat grenades, as well as enemy callouts, no name displayed or reticle colour change when enemies aim at you. So if you're going to go for an overall stealth loadout, this is probably going to be one you want to choose. And the other things depend on how popular those target enhancers and the thermals are. If a lot of people use thermal tracking attachments and target enhancers, and I think they actually might, because if you look at the launchers that we're going to look at later in this video, you can see that they're quite strong. So Cold-Blooded could be a popular one, I don't know, but definitely obviously one you're going to choose if you're going for a complete stealth loadout. Blind Eye, we've got the same as usual pretty much, undetectable by tracking drones, explosives and all score streaks except the UAV. So this isn't going to hide you off of that UAV sweep, but pretty much everything else isn't going to see you. Obviously if it's a player controlled score streak, they still might be able to kill you, but anything that's not controlled by a player, this is going to be a very handy one to have. And I think the score streaks are going to be pretty good in this game. I think they've really worked on them to make them fun, so Blind Eye could be quite popular, especially if you're playing in a lobby like a ground war or just a lobby where someone on the other team is absolutely going ham. Next up, we have Fast Hands, reload while sprinting, swap weapons, use exo abilities and exo launcher faster. So this is going to be actually really good for people who like to quickly throw out grenades and concussions. People who like to rush might want to use this. The only downfall I find with this one is that reloading while sprinting is kind of counterintuitive to me. Quite often I sprint to get out of the reload animation, and if I have this perk on, there's a similar perk in Ghosts, they end up not being able to do that, and I forget, and I end up trying to run away and cancel reload, and all kind of things go wrong when I do that. But I guess if you get used to it, that could be quite a useful ability. Next up we have peripherals, which increases minimap coverage and take out enemies without displaying death icons. So not all of you might know this, but when you normally kill an enemy in a Call of Duty game, all of their teammates can see a skull on the actual map which shows where they died. So it gives a good indication of where the danger is. However, if you use this, you can go completely stealth, no one has a clue where you're taking out enemies, and it might help. So again, another stealth class. I can see there's quite a lot of stealth classes or stealth perks in this game, and that's because there are a lot of things that can track you, as we'll see in the EXO launchers a little bit later in this video. So peripherals one, I'm not sure how popular that will be. It doesn't seem too strong, but then you don't know until you use it. Finally, we've got Gung Ho, fire while sprinting and sliding. This one, again, it seems a little bit crazy. I'm so used to sprint reload cancelling that having Gung Ho will be a complete change for me. But if you think about it, if you really want to be an all-out crazy rusher, Gung Ho could be a lot of fun. So for me, this is one that I'll probably just have more fun with, and I'll try when I really fancy a bit of an adrenaline rush. But most of the time, I don't really see this one being as useful as some of the other perks available. Let me know what you think down in the comments section. Finally, for the last perk tier 3, we can see some really good perks here, ones that I think a lot of people will be using. So we start off with Hardline, decrease score streak cost by 100. I quite like using this perk in Call of Duty, especially when I've got some really nice kill streaks, or score streaks should I say, lined up. I can see that one being quite popular. Next, we've got Toughness, and a lot of players in Call of Duty swear by Toughness and will not play without it. So I can see this one probably being the most popular perk in Call of Duty. Me personally, I can sometimes go without it, but then when you lose that one gunfight where you could have had Toughness on, I don't know, I feel like you kind of always regret not having Toughness. So again, a very popular perk here in this perk tier. Next up we have Scavenger, a perk that's been around for a while. You start with an extra magazine and resupply bullet ammo from any dead enemies on the battlefield. Now this one isn't quite as strong as it could be. Sometimes this perk resupplies tactical grenades and lethal grenades, but lethal grenades is a little bit overpowered sometimes, I feel. So I think it's quite good that it just resupplies your bullet ammunition, but it doesn't make it as strong as some of the other perks. I'm not sure how popular this one will be. Again, it's one of these perks that's only really for people that feel like they're going to go on long streaks, and it's only for certain game modes. Like you wouldn't really carry that in Search and Destroy where it's round based. Normally it's for a game mode where you hope to go on some really long kill streaks and score streaks. Next up, Hardwired, immune to system hack, EMP, nano swarms, stun grenades and scramblers. Now you can just see from the description of that, there is a lot of this kind of tracking style stuff in this game. So many of these perks seem to be based around hiding you from certain things in the game. Personally, I prefer if there wasn't so many things tracking you in the game, so you wouldn't have to pick perks based around because other people are playing a certain way. You pick perks based on the fact that they enhance how you want to play. So I don't really like that there's so many things here tracking people, but if it's balanced and fun, we're yet to see, then I'm all for it. So anyway, that one is Hardwired, basically immune to quite a few of the electrical things going on in the game. And then finally we have Blast Suppressor, don't show on minimap when using EXO movements. So as you're going to see in a minute when we look at the EXO abilities, there is actually a ability where you can see people's movement when they use their fast EXO abilities like the strafing and the jumping. So this one is going to stop you from being seen if one of the enemy is running EXO ping, which I'll explain in a second. So almost like putting a suppressor on your EXO suit. So another one really, if you want to go all out stealth, this is probably one that you're going to choose. Now let's take a look at the EXO abilities available in this game. These abilities are often short term, they last a few seconds, maybe 5 to 10 seconds at a time, and some of the perks you can get in this game can actually enhance these. So let's take a look. First off, we've got EXO Shield, a quick deploy shield attached to your EXO arm. So almost like a mobile shield that you take around. Sometimes if you want to choose riot shield in the game, you have to actually just have that instead of your primary weapon, or you have to take another weapon with you, but this deploys a quick one that you just hold in front of you. That's quite a cool little thing to try. Will it be annoying? I don't know. I mean, some of these look quite annoying, but if you think about it, a lot of them have quite some really good advantages, so I don't think people will really be drawn towards one. So how popular these are, I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments down below which out of these you think will be the most popular one and the one that you will be choosing on most of your loadouts. Next up, we've got Exo Stim. Temporarily generate health beyond normal levels. That's kind of interesting. It's almost like a temporary Juggernaut perk. I hope that one, if you use it, you won't be able to use it too often. But like I said previously, or just a second ago, that sounds strong, but when you consider that you can only have one out of these, maybe it'll be balanced. I don't know. But I can see myself using that one quite often, especially if you know you're going to go into a gunfight. Quickly, a bit of Stim, give you that little bit extra health, might help you out. Next out, we've got Exo Hover. Hover in a place for a short duration. This one doesn't really seem like it'll be too popular, because this is one where you have to really make the most of it. It's not really an automatic, you know, helps you out thing. It only helps you out if you can use it tactically. So hover in one place, I don't know, maybe it will have some really good kind of advantages to it, but I'm not sure if I'll use that one too often. We've got Exo Ping, which is show enemy movement and weapons fire in your HUD. I actually think this might be really popular. I can imagine that a lot of people will be using that double jump and the strafing a lot in the Exo suit, so having ping on there and it allowing you to then know where they are is going to be extremely useful. I think that's going to be one that not a lot of people might realize, but will actually be really strong. Next, we've got Exo Trophy System. Destroys incoming grenades and rockets. Sounds similar to trophy systems in previous CODs. We've got Exo Cloak, which is the one that I like the least. I hate the fact that they've put a cloak in this game. I don't see why they would put a cloak in it other than it to be completely annoying, and I can see a lot of people using this one just to wind people up. So I hope it's not popular. I hope it's really weak. We'll have to see. We'll have to wait until we play the game, but this is the biggest thing in the game that I think could really spoil it. I hate it when people cloak in games, especially a fast-paced shooter like this. It doesn't make any sense to me. And next we've got Exo Overclock, increased foot speed. One that might be quite popular with people who like to rush. That can be really fun. In this game, you can see you can probably make a lot of improvements to your movement speed if you pick the right perks as well as this Exo ability. So finally, let's go over the Exo launchers. You can attach these to your Exo suits and fire them out. Just generally explosives and stuff that you're used to from previous Call of Duty. So stun grenade blinds, disorientates and slows enemies, can be manually detonated. Standard stun grenade with a little bit slight difference that you can actually manually detonate it, and a lot of these it looks like you can manually detonate. We've got Semtex, the same old thing, a sticky explosive. EMP, always one of my favorites. Disable enemy equipment and Exo movements, can manually be detonated. That's kind of cool that it disables the Exo suit as well as the opposition, for the opposition, as well as all the other electronics that you'd usually expect it to disable. We've got a frag grenade, same old thing, just a random kind of standard explosive. Tracking drone, a piece of equipment that tracks and highlights enemy players. Something again about tracking players. A lot of these things are to do with either tracking players or hiding from things that track you. A variable grenade can cycle through stun, EMP, threat and smoke, cannot be manually detonated. So this actually looks like the best one out of the lot. You can choose whichever grenade you want. However, I suppose this will be a little bit of disadvantage if you're in a situation where you need to react quickly and then you need to choose whether you turn it into a stun, EMP, smoke. I can imagine that would be a bit of a problem, but in a slower paced game like Search and Destroy, that would probably be a great pick. Next up, we've got Explosive Drone, a proximity tag drone that tracks enemies and explodes when near them, so basically like a claymore or something like that. Let's hope that they're not too ridiculous. This is basically the ID of this game, so it'd be interesting to see how that one plays out. We've got the Spike Drone, a lethal drone that returns on command, so this kind of looks like the throwing knife from this game or something similar to that. Smoke grenade, standard stuff, create a smoke screen, can be manually detonated again. And a threat grenade, temporarily shows enemies through walls, can manually be detonated. Threat grenades are in quite a lot of games. There's one in Battlefield or something similar in Battlefield. So this is one that you just throw into an area just to see if there's anyone around the corner. So that's it for my detailed look at all of the perks, abilities, launcher abilities as well in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check out some more of my Call of Duty Advanced Warfare videos. I've done a video showing all of the weapons and guns that were showcased in the game. Well worth checking that one out if you haven't seen it already. Don't forget to subscribe and smash that like button as well if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.